Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another version of our daily devotions that we do here at Woodlawn Christian Church in Lake City, Iowa, by the way. We're preparing this devotion for Monday, February 21st of 2022, and we are in the Gospel of Matthew. We are in the fourth chapter, and we're getting up to today. The devotion is going to be over the fourth chapter, verses 18 to 22 in Matthew's Gospel. And we just got done with Jesus learning about John being arrested. He's not executed yet. That's important to remember. That doesn't come for a number of chapters yet, quite a few in Matthew's gospel. But John's been arrested, and Jesus has heard about this, and this kind of kickstarts Jesus's ministry. He's been baptized. Now he finds out John's arrested. He goes to Capernaum, which is where he has his home base for his ministry, is in Capernaum by the Sea of Galilee. So he goes there, and this is where he calls his first disciples. And that's what we're going to have today in these short verses that we're looking at, 18 through 22. So, without further ado, let's jump right in, shall we? As he walked by the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew, his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. And he said to them, "Follow me, and I will make you fish for people." Immediately they left their nets and followed him. As he went from there, he saw two other brothers, James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John, in the boat with their father Zebedee, mending their nets, and he called them. Immediately they left the boat and their father and followed him. Okay, the first thing you might notice here, scratch my head a little bit. First thing you might notice here is this is different than John's Gospel's version of the calling of the disciples. And some feel the need to reconcile that. I don't. That doesn't bother me. It doesn't disturb me a bit. Here we have Jesus at the Sea of Galilee, again in Capernaum, where he makes his home base. And his first disciples are Andrew and Simon, who we later called Peter. But it's not until later he's called Peter. So here Matthew throws that in there as an identifier. Simon, who's called Peter? Because there's more than one Simon. And Simon seems to be a fairly common name in that region, as well as John and James are. And probably Jesus, to be honest. So they are out there. Peter and Andrew are out fishing. And it says immediately they came and followed him. Well, they had to come in from the water. They were out there casting nets, so they weren't just right by the shore. And then he moves on and he sees John and James with their dad. And oftentimes we focus on this about this immediacy, that they don't mess around. Once they're called, they go. And that's an important part. Once you feel a calling to serve God or to do a project for God, to whatever it is, we need to remember to get right on the ball and to do as we are Spirit-led. Now, Spirit-led might be that it takes a while. That's an important point to remember, because one of the things I want you to look here is among the original disciples, we have at least four that are fishermen. Some say there's six. At least four are fishermen. And the first four, the ones today, they're all fishermen. Why? What's the deal about fishermen? Why would fishermen be among the lot, or why would they be the choice ones to pick? The first four draft picks, why would they be fishermen? Well, some might say, and it might be an extraordinarily valid point, well, he's located in a fishing area, so of course he's coming in contact with fishermen. Valid point. But let's go beyond that a little bit, and let's just think about it, and maybe I want to say speculate just a little bit, shall we? What is there about fishermen that might be advantageous to being a disciple of Christ? Well, first of all, fishermen have to have at least some element of bravery in their lives, because they are out on the water. Remember, the water was, and I'm not sure if I talked about that in the devotions or if I talked about that in sermons, but at any rate, if you follow along with my posts here on or YouTube, Facebook as well, you'll know that the water was the abyss, and that was danger. So for them, there's a danger. Anytime you're out on the water, that's why they're afraid in the storm and the chaos and all of that, the chaos in the waters. So there is an element of danger there. So they are brave men to go out on the water to earn their living. They aren't afraid. So that would be something of value for John or for Jesus in picking these 4 men and the rest of the men. That these men have an element of bravery in their lives, in their hearts. Second thing, these are men that are used to being patient. Because the thing about fishing is one night, now we know in the end of John's Gospel, we just finished John's Gospel, they were out fishing all night and it had no luck at all. And then Jesus tells them to cast their nets on the other side, and they get a catch. But they were at the point where they were coming back in or about to come back in, and they weren't going to be catching any fish, and that's a common thing. That would have been a common thing for them, common to be skunked, as they say, that you go out and you work so hard and you come back empty-handed. But yet the next night, because they pretended to fish at night, that was the thing, they fished at night, not in the daylight. The next night they go back out again, even though they failed the prior night. Maybe they failed the prior 6 nights or the 16 nights. They go out again. They are determined, and they have stick-to-itiveness, if that's a word. They don't give up. They're not easily dissuaded from a task and from the mission at hand. So they will keep going and going, even when the nets are coming back empty. And that's something that's important for us, because oftentimes when we're fishing for men, because I think all of us are called to be disciples, all of us are called to be fishers for men. If we're going to say that we're Christ followers, that's part of what we signed up for, guys and gals. I'm sorry. You got to be fishing for men and women. So the point is that you're going to often come up dry with your attempts. And a lot of times your attempts at evangelism and speaking the word to people are going to fall on deaf ears. And sometimes those ears may stay deaf or stuffed up for many, many years. I won't share any names, but we do have one praise we did today in worship of a child of one of our members that has been away from God for so long. And I have many people confide in me that they are concerned that their children have fallen away. I can have the same concern. And I have to keep reminding them, you have to stay diligent to the task. You have to remain true to the word. God will get through to even the hardest heads. He got through this hard head. And so you stay on task. And even though you cast the nets night after night and they come back empty, you keep going out. And that's what makes these fishers for men so valuable to Jesus, is the fact that they are patient and determined. They don't give up easily, and they aren't afraid. They have courage of their conviction, if you want to say it that way. So I think that's what makes these men so important to Jesus, and I think that's what makes you so important to Christ as well. If you stick in your heart and remember that Jesus, God, will get us through this, no matter what, no matter how much time it takes, we will get through this with Him by our side. So with that, I'm going to let you go. Have a blessed day, and we will see you all tomorrow on the 22nd of February, 2022. That's a lot of twos in this one coming up. So have a blessed day and be a blessing to someone today. Bye-bye.